Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of the Paranormal Weekend Morning Brew Show. I'm Nighthawk, one of your hosts. We have Eric backstage, and we're going to get right into the thick of things. We're going to do the copyright disclaimer, and then we're going to start our topic covers. And we're going to be talking about a lot of different things today. We're going to be covering some Bigfoot stuff, some of the shape-shifting stuff, some of the stuff about Beauvais Island again, which I think is very, very interesting, especially with the way we're having all this weird weather. So, which could correlate to the direct energy weapons or the HARP facilities around the world. So, copyright disclaimer is this channel may use some copyrighted material without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the Fair Use Act. Nighthawk High Strange, this podcast channel, and all the podcasts on the channel declare fair use of any and all content to be used for the sole purposes of informing you, the viewing family, of information for criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, and general knowledge only. Let's not forget the entertainment value. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, otherwise known as the Fair Use Act. Okay, that is a done deal. It's said, it's written in blood, so Facebook can't censor us. And speaking of Facebook, this is going to be the last episode that the Paranormal Weekend Morning Brew Show is going to be on Facebook. Okay. Because Facebook is censorship happy and they just love to basically bully everybody. Okay, so I've pretty much had it with Facebook, and so we're leaving them in the high and dry. We're going to be on YouTube. We're going to be on X, which is Twitter. Okay, and we also have Twitch. Okay, if anybody's a Twitch subscriber, we can be on Twitch. And let's see, Rumble. I got to set an extra camera up for Rumble because they have to do their own thing. StreamYard doesn't do it for them. But yeah, other than that, we have those 4 channels that we're going to be on, okay, on a regular basis. So look for us on those channels, like, heart, and share it. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube if you can. Take a moment out of your schedule and go ahead and do that, because this is definitely the last episode we're airing on Facebook. Okay, so anyways, let me go to the comment section here and say hello to everybody. Okay, we have that ED Testerman's here again.
That crazy fluffy baboon guy.
Roxanne, good to see you. All right, let's see here. And we got Cynthia, good to see you. Ida, good to see you. June, good to see you. Dave, good to see you. Okay, let's see. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I see
hey,
you.
I'm sorry. I was trying to catch everybody and answer comments. And Ida, you're welcome. Or thank you for the comment on the show last night. Yeah, it was a pretty powerful show.
Let me see here. And what do you got? You're doing your show tonight too, though, right?
Or today, so instead of doing campfire chats tonight, I'm doing my regular show tonight at 5:00 Central Standard Time, because I'm going to be working nights the next 2 weeks. So for the next 2 Sundays, I won't have a show at night because I'll be working. Yeah, I go in at 8:00, and I don't know when I'll be getting off. So that starts tomorrow night. So what I decided to do, instead of doing campfire chats on Saturday like I normally do, I'm going to do my regular show during that time slot. And that way I can at least get that out, which we're doing the Mokle Bimbe, which is, I have got 20 pages of notes, and that's counting reports of sightings. My God. Yeah. I mean, that was probably one of the easiest things I've ever had to research on finding information, because they're just not hiding it yet. And I think you're right. It's because people ain't talking about it. I've always
Exactly.
been fascinated with it because I'm like, it proves to me, it proves that my theory, since I was knee high to a grasshopper's ass, that dinosaurs did not go extinct by no stinking asteroid. And I
No,
mean, and
no, they did. I mean, that's not to
yeah,
take away the fact that the asteroid hit the planet. That's not taking
yeah,
that away. But you know, we've seen through past history of this planet, that there's been several catastrophes where
yeah,
creatures and living entities have survived in the remote places.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a given, man. That's a given.
Yeah. I
Uh,
mean, see, my philosophy on that has always been if that was true, then why do we still have sharks, crocodiles, blah, 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 alligators, elephants, giraffes, horses, all this shit
no,
that was
yeah,
alive during that time frame too? Why do we
yeah,
still have them if it wiped all the dinosaurs out? It just didn't. To me, that scenario never panned out, never made sense. I mean,
yeah.
I'm a logical thinker though. I think I do not get told what to think. I think for myself. I'm very logical on stuff, and logic dictates that that is a false narrative.
Good morning, Glades. Yeah, look at just the evolutionary ladder that they're talking about recently about with the dinosaurs, basically evolving into two-legged upright, beings, living beings that survived, the devastation back then, you know, from the
Yeah.
asteroid or meteorite or whatever it was that hit the Earth. And they're, it's said that they're to walk around today to right next to mankind, and we don't even know it. So
Look
there's
at the
all kinds of
chicken. I
yeah,
mean, look at chicken.
there's
It's closely related to Tyrannosaurus Rex.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, you never know. I mean, what's that saying in Jurassic Park by that one weird guy? Life will find a way,
It
you
does.
know, and it
See,
does. Yes, it really does.
yeah. See, now I'm not a Darwin guy. Okay, I think Darwin had the right concept, but I think his teachings was off. If that makes sense. I
Well, I
believe to
mean,
a point there was evolution. I mean, that's
yeah,
enough of the fossil
no, that's
records which
apparent.
suggest that that is true. Huh?
Yeah, yeah, that's
I'm sorry.
apparent. That no, that's okay. That's apparent though. I mean, you can't have. Well, it's kind of a between a rock and a hard place with that theory because when we
Mhm,
think about theories of evolution, we try to eliminate it from the Bible aspect of it, and
mhm,
it's always been my opinion that the Bible is a legitimate book, and the teachings within it is a legitimate teachings, and a way to be spiritual. But I believe that that evolution is separate, a whole separate category from religion, and it has. I don't think it
mhm,
affects religion and our belief in God and one Creator, Yeshua. You know, by any way, shape, or form. You can have your faith and your religious doctrine in your life, and you can also have the belief that what these animals evolved, mankind has evolved because mankind has to
mhm,
adapt to the
mhm,
environment around it, just like the animals do. Okay, so yes, mankind has evolved over time too, but that doesn't take
mhm.
away the fact that mankind can also be religious and spiritual. You know, so
Yep. Oh yeah, man. I agree.
yep.
Dang, Glades, you're going at it today, buddy. Uh, um, but no, I've always been that type of person. Evolution is true. We've seen it, but I don't, I believe there's more to it than just that. I believe now I'm also a firm believer God could have had, Yahweh could have had a hand in going, you need to look like this to fit your environment. Everything adapts to, they stole a Marine Corps saying, adapt and overcome. You know, everything's going to
Yeah.
adapt to fit their environment. When I was
Hey,
little, I
Adam.
always believed a huge monster dinosaur would come out. And what is weird is I get that feeling that there is something in um, the think fog. It never left me.
Frog.
Huh? Your comments are hiccups.
Yeah,
Interesting, Rocky.
I was just gonna say, Glades, you're definitely making yourself known out there. Um, I'm gonna start. We'll have to give Glades a new nickname. Call him Repeat. So you're now.
Well, yeah, it is hiccuping, ain't it? I wonder why it's doing that, bud. You may
That
have
is,
to exit out and come back in. You may have to refresh and come back in. Something's
yeah,
caused that thing to do that.
yeah. Every comment you make, it makes two more at least. So, which I'm not complaining because comments are what we like on the show. So,
Mhm,
hey, have at it. If you want to have multiple comments of the same thing, Glades,
mhm.
you're more than welcome to, bro.
Heck yeah, buddy. That is kind of curious on your deal there, Roxanne. Though, I mean, I ain't
Yeah.
gonna lie. I mean, I've always had that feeling too. There was something huge in the dark that was watching me, but I mean, there's got to be something
Has
to it. I mean,
anybody?
there's just
Yeah.
enough evidence.
Has anybody ever experienced the fog bank where you because I've experienced it here in the valley, and it's a fog that's almost like physically alive. Jessica and I have talked about it before on her podcast. Um, some people refer to it as electronic fog, but it's almost like it is a being within itself, like an
Hmm.
amoeba. You know,
Yeah.
um, I've seen it to where it stops at the tree line where we live in a perfectly straight line and doesn't
Hmm.
go any further to the field. And the closer you get to it, the more you can feel like an electronic charge from it, like a static
Hmm.
electricity. And that's why they call it an electronic fog. But yeah, it's almost like that fog is alive. We had an ordeal here I think it was last year. I don't know, David might remember, and Melissa, but we had an ordeal outside real late at night with a deer that was screaming for its dear life, um, just at the tree line. Okay, and we saw it. It was laying on the ground, and we knew something was up because the fog was immersing itself around that deer. The more the fog got around the deer, the more the deer screamed. So it was
Hmm.
really a creepy type of a thing. So yes, I fully believe that there are different types of fog. I mean, you got your weather fog, and then you got your supernatural fog. You know,
Hmm. No, and I agree because there's times I go in the fog and you can feel really uneasy in it, and there's times I can go in the fog and it's like it's welcoming and warming and soothing and calming. So I mean, I've always had that thought in my head: is fog an actual living thing and not evaporation like we're always taught? I mean, have I seen fog come
exactly.
up off the lake and build up? Absolutely, I have. But there's something that
Hmm.
the Native Americans say, and people forget about this all the time: is everything has a life force to it, has an energy, has a soul, has a consciousness, and has a way to communicate. Everything is living, the
Right.
rocks, the trees, the grass, the water. The water is sacred. The water is the blood of Mother Earth. It's the blood of the Native Americans. It's very sacred. It's fog's made from water. So, I mean, absolutely, the concept of fog could be an actual living entity that's either good or bad. I can't
Right.
dispute it. It definitely requires more research.
Right. Yeah. And I also feel like Glades is saying here, he's actually had the Dogman encounter where it came out of the
Mm,
fog, out of it formed from a gray fog. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Um, it is almost like it's a living, breathing element of this
mm,
planet. And that, you know, I kind of I liken it unto like Mother Earth's breath. How we when we
mm,
breathe and we exhale, in cold weather, how that mist comes out. I almost feel like it's like that way with the fog for our environment that we live in, that it's almost like a living entity in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
And out of that fog, that type of fog, that there is the possibility that cryptid creatures or other beings can form out of that fog. Maybe it's because they were in the past timeline, and the fog gave them a portal to come through into our timeline. You know what I'm saying? Or it could be just something that's basically generated from within the fog itself. Kind of like manifestation, but on a whole different level. So yeah, it's very, very unique when you deal with that kind of fog. So
oh yeah, I mean, and there's no doubt things use the fog. While I was in the military, I've used the fog to my advantage if I've had it when I was dealing with a certain situation. And I can't dispute that other things use the fog for the same reason right there. It's a great cover and concealment. I mean, it really is. So, yeah. Oh,
so he's paying more. You're paying more money to have more comments.
yeah. He's paying less. He went to a $30 service from a $50 service, so they're pissed at him because he dropped $20.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
It's okay, buddy. We still love you.
Yeah, we don't mind.
No, I mean,
we don't mind it repeat.
I mean, but it all does boil down to the fact that everything is living. So, I mean,
yeah.
Personally, I love the fog. I love how the water builds up on my skin and almost like cleanses me. That's when I'm in that calming. When I'm in the fog, that's very calming. I'll stand out in it, and that's what happens.
Right.
It feels like the water that builds up on me from the fog is like cleansing my body, and I'll take it in.
Right.
But there's times I've been in the fog where it's like I want to get the hell out of this. There's something not right,
Right.
So is that supernatural? Possibly. Is it something hiding in there using it as cover? Possibly.
Yep. So, definitely. And I think it goes even beyond just the electronic fog being alive. I think it has also that the closer that kind of a fog is to a ley line, that just multiplies the power within that fog, the ability for that fog to be alive and to promote other entities from coming outside of it. You know what I'm saying? Into our world. I mean, things hide in the clouds all the time. There's birds of prey. Well, take the thunderbird. The stories and legends of the thunderbird. Being on the forefront of a storm front cloud that's coming along. Well, what if that cloud is actually electronic fog? Because it could actually look like a cloud. Fog looks like a cloud just on the ground. So why can't fog be up in the sky that height? And that energy from that electronic fog generate the rebirth per se of the thunderbird, to show itself. So I mean, it's definitely a weird concept to try and grasp, and I'm already getting a headache. So yeah, there's so much to fog, it really is. Hello, and Ed. Thank you, Aunt Edna.
Oh yeah. The fog I saw seemed like it was a being. It was about 15 feet in size. Went from the ground up to the side of the house, then back. It wasn't a sheet of fog. It was a mass or a glob. Huh.
Yeah, see? I just, makes sense. It does make sense, that maybe that type of fog, maybe we have the environmental fog, which is just normal fog, the mist of the climate, and the dew point being so high. And then we have what we should technically call the living fog, you know. Um, and it makes sense too, because it talks about in the Bible too. It talks about living water. Well, what is fog? Fog is made up of water molecules. So,
I just got a question. If you inhale the fog, does it connect you to the cryptids? Me personally, I don't think so. I think you're more connected to the energy of the fog itself, but I could be wrong.
yeah, I'm not too sure about that. I'm not too sure we want to breathe within that fog, to tell you the truth. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we take a risk every time we go outside, anyways, especially at night, especially with the way things have been increasing, paranormal and supernatural wise. So,
Roxanne's got a good one here. My mom told me something scared me when I was about 4 or 5. She said I kept hearing a lion outside run in screaming. She had a hard time calming me down, and this was in the fog.
See, and how many other hundreds of thousands of people have that same experience of having that overwhelming feeling that they're experiencing something alive within that fog? And how many times have we seen on YouTube and other social media sites where people post videos of the beings in the clouds, and what makes the clouds not actually to be electronic fog? You know what I mean? That's why I came up with that idea of the Thunderbird, because now you're seeing all kinds of videos coming out that people are capturing in the sky of dragons, of what do they call those death things from Harry Potter? Yeah, I can't. What do they call? I can't remember the name.
Watched the movie. I just watched the movie.
And then you put all the other weird stuff that comes up. How about UFOs? How about, has anybody ever thought about maybe that's not a portal that's opening up and letting UFOs into our world or anything else, and orbs? Maybe that is electronic fog up in the sky that's forming, and that the entity comes through in a craft or an orb or anyway, you know what I mean? It could be. Maybe it's not a portal thing. Maybe it is meant to be an electronic fog thing.
Yeah, not Death Eaters, Roxanne. Death Eaters were the followers of Voldemort. David, you're right. It's amazing that fog is water vapor droplets that defies gravity for the most part. I mean, that's the magical thing about fog. Absolutely right. Watching Aunt says watching the fog roll down off the mountains into the valleys, a magical looking scene. You're absolutely right. It is. It really is. Glade says it had like 50 waves that seemed to roll forward like taking steps. Yeah, that's
exactly.
interesting.
And the fog that we actually experienced that late night with the deer was it did exactly what Glade says. It kind of like comes at you in like 3 foot or 2 foot increments, like it's taking steps, but I almost liken it unto like when the waves come into a shoreline, how the waves be almost literally parallel to the shoreline, and how it comes in that way a little bit at a time, and then the wave gets stronger and further in, and all that. That's the way I kind of perceive it too.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Nice show. Good to see you.
He said, I never saw the dog man form. I got away from the window only a day or so later, I saw this Dogman thing. Show me the show.
It's very well possible that this electronic fog is something that we we haven't really studied a whole lot and haven't really theorized it or connected it to the whole portal opening type of a thing. And if you think about it, that case of that pilot off of Florida that left the Florida Keys, and one minute he's flying in his single engine Cessna, and he sees this fog forming in the sky, and he said that his plane literally went into this tunnel, and this tunnel was kind of like rotating, like the designs that I have behind me on Into the Red Rabbit Hole, literally circulating in a clockwise manner, and he diverted the plane out of it, and next thing he knows, he's like half an hour, 45 minutes ahead of schedule, and past the point of where he was flying to, which was what was it? He was flying to St. Augustine, Florida, I believe. And yeah, I mean, he reported that fog too, and it transported him in time, 45 minutes or so. So, it would make sense that fog might be the reason that the portals in the sky open up and on the ground. It has to have something to do with the energies. It really does. The vibrational energies of this planet is off the charts. So
yeah, Roxanne sent me a video from Carthage, the storm of Carthage, a couple of weeks ago, and it's weird because in one lightning strike you don't see nothing, and the next lightning strike you see like a tube sitting in the middle of it, and then next lightning strike it's gone again. Yeah, weird.
What about the storms and stuff that are generated all around the world? There was one video that was taken from, where was it? I think it was the Middle East, and the storm came up, and the person that took the video actually captured this. Well, I mean, the only way to really describe what I saw in the video was like a cloud eater. Just something really, really, really huge, from ground to maybe 2 miles up in the sky, and just, two-legged, 2 arms, that kind of a thing, maybe a giant, for all manners and purposes of it, so it's really, 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 really something when you think about it, the whole fog thing. So
I wanted to get back to something we forgot to hear. David made a comment: Star Trek transporter equals fog possible. I was saying kind of similar to it, but not the same. That'd be my opinion.
Yeah, I would say that it's definitely similar to it. But I don't know, man. It's such a weird thing to try and fathom, really. I mean, you'd have to really be able. I mean, is there any way to really even get a sample of fog? I mean, you can take equipment in there and you can measure the temperature, the pressure, and all that. The more of the weatherman type of equipment.
I just thought of something.
Like the speed. Huh?
Well, next time you have fog, we need to take a digital recorder in, and probably even like a spirit box, and see what you capture inside of a fog.
Well, I got news for you. I got news for you, brother. This old Indian ain't going to be walking his happy ass into no electronic fog bank anytime soon, because you never know where you'll end up.
That's true. Yeah, Glade says here, I've seen fog since then, of course, always a sheet. The one I saw as a 5-year-old was moving around from the ground up 8 foot in the air, then back down, coming forward.
Yep. Yeah, the fog that I saw too was about 8 foot tall, 8 foot in height, all the way down to the ground, and it was just maybe about a half an inch off of the ground. That was it, and it was a perfect wall of fog. It wasn't like, and in nature, you usually don't find straight lines in nature. Okay, but this actually had a straight line about it, almost like it was, moving in one sweeping manner. So,
like it almost hit an invisible wall.
yeah, exactly.
Edna says, so weird y'all talking about this. I watched the clouds on my way home, saw circles, even almost a square or a portal. I'm going to bring up a picture. Give me a second. Let me download this because it's interesting you bring that up. Because when I was at work about a month or so ago, when some storms were coming in, I actually caught something very similar to what you're talking about. And I'll have to find it real quick. But let me, when I get this pulled up, I'll see if it's kind of what you're talking about. To me, I took a picture of it because it was odd as hell. I mean, it was
Yeah,
just a
I
really
know
odd.
exactly. I know exactly what they're saying as far as the shape of it and stuff, and the
Mm-hmm.
abilities of it, because I've seen it firsthand. But and I have pictures on my files too of it being in almost like a cube shape, almost like a
Mm-hmm.
square shape, and floating in the sky. You know, there was a video going around too a few years back. I think it was filmed in Philadelphia, above the city of Philadelphia, about this really odd looking cloud and how it moved like it was alive. And inside it had like little flashes of light, like flashlight being turned on and turned off real quick. You know what I mean? Or the sparks of a
Mm-hmm.
lighter that's out of fluid. Looking like that. Inside it. It was really strange. And I thought to myself then, well, that must be electronic fog. It has to be, you know, but it was literally moving in the video like it had purpose, like it had a purpose to go somewhere. So
Mm-hmm.
it was really, really odd, man.
This is it. Now you'll look above the hilltops, and it's going to be hard to see. But if you look above the hilltops, you can kind of see a real bright area right there. That was like a freaking perfect
Uh,
circle, damn near. When I snapped that picture, that's not a good angle of it, but um, I'm wondering if that's kind of what you was talking about on that. Because when I took it, when I seen it, it was like a hey Griff, it was like a perfect circle, but it was just like
yeah,
it was a circle, and you can kind of see the light coming down out of it.
let me see if I've got any of the electronic fog pictures in my computer here. I know I've got them in my phone, but my phone's out in the living room right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let me see here. How am I going to do this? Let me go back to pictures.
Gray
And
goes fog does something to my cell phone signal. Drops the bar to zero. I've never had that, but that's interesting.
hmm,
Yeah, it's hot here
let me
too,
see.
Woo, because it rained all day yesterday. No, most off and on yesterday.
All right, come on now. Let
Yeah,
me
take
see
a
the
pic
picture.
on it. If you see again, take a pic. Anytime I find something weird, I take a picture of it. And the one
Hmm.
picture I had, it showed it a lot better than that. I don't know what happened to it, so I must have accidentally deleted it without knowing. Or it's one of those that didn't
Hmm.
download properly.
I'm not seeing that picture that I had on my computer. I might have it on my phone. No, well, I know I have it on the phone. I'm positive of it, but I don't. see it.
Yeah, the movie Mist. Yeah.
Wait a second. Is this it? This might be it. Let me pull this up and see what happens. Let me see what happens with this. This might be the one I'm thinking of.
Oh, yep. Wow.
That's yeah, that's it right there. Yep, that's the picture that I took, okay, on my phone of the fog, and you can see how square it is. That's not typical of fog, okay, and that's not typical of breath of it being cold out. It's more of a rolling and forming thing, but that is just.
Dude, that's screaming.
Yeah, I mean that.
Supernatural.
Well, I mean it's weird,
mm-hmm.
And it's almost like if you look at it, there's almost like an X mark on the end of it that looks like it might opened up into a portal.
Yeah, that is definitely not normal.
Yeah, and that was taken off of my phone.
Is that hovering roughly 10 foot in the air?
That is actually that was probably about, I think, the roof of our house, probably about 12 to 14 feet in the air.
Yeah, that's something supernatural.
Yeah, I was hoping I had it on there, but yeah, that's good. I still have it, but yeah, that is just, I don't know, man, because you think about how like magicians will use the smoke machines and stuff to cause like the audience to not look at a certain direction that their trick they're doing is going to be exposed. But I don't know. This is above and beyond like anything naturally forming, because looking at that picture that I even took of the electronic fog that night was almost like looking at a cube, like a box, like an Amazon box, floating in the sky out of mist, and the way it moved, it literally moved like it was thinking, like it had a purpose to interact with something. You know what I mean? And I mean, I didn't get a bad feeling about it. It wasn't like an overwhelming, oppressive, and dangerous feeling that I had. I just stood there and took a picture. It didn't chase me. It didn't follow me. It just had a purpose, and it was just sitting there like it was looking around the open field to see which direction it wanted to go. It was weird.
Could have been an elemental. I mean, look at a lot of stories throughout history. Talking about supernatural beings being able to form into fog. Medicine men that was able to bring fog about. I mean, look how many times you get in the paranormal field when you capture a ghost. If you're lucky enough to actually see one, normally it is fog shaped.
Right. Yep.
I mean, to see a full body apparition is extremely rare. I mean, and an apparition period is rare. A full body where you can see detailed is extremely rare. Most time when you catch an apparition, it's fog like.
Right. Yep. Yeah. I don't know, man. That was just really. That was really, really weird because, I think of movies like The Mist or The Fog, where, the pirates come out of the fog or the monster comes out of the fog, in the movie The Mist. It's almost that same type of a feeling that you have, like it's alive. But the only thing I've ever seen inside the electronic fog, when I've experienced it, is, like I said, the spark of a lighter being out of lighter fluid, but you're still clicking that to make that spark. You know, I've seen that inside the actual formation of this fog bank. You know, I mean, that's really the only way to describe it. But yeah, the way things happen in that fog, you know, that deer that was screaming its head off basically quit screaming, and next thing we know, it wasn't laying there in the field no more. It was gone. And we didn't see anything reach in the fog and grab it and pick it up and carry it off. We didn't see any other movement. You know, it's like, where'd the deer go? You know, so maybe that deer went through an opening of a portal and got transported to another location or another time or dimension. You know, I mean, it's very possible. I wish there was a way that we could scientifically prove that electronic fog is the reason for portals opening, you know, a lot of the time within the specific areas like the Bermuda Triangle, Alaska, or along the coast of California, you know, areas like that have a very high water molecule count, you know.
Come on, dude, lay still. Lay still. I can't block you and I can't block baby at the same time. You guys are taking up both my hands here. I got baby kitty, which I cleared off a huge spot for her to lay, so she ain't got to be on my keyboard. And where she got to do reposition herself, where I got to block my keyboard from her, otherwise she'll kick me off everything. And then I got Snow wanting to be held. And it's like I can't even use my hands right now.
Call animal control.
I don't know if you can hear her. Baby kitty sitting right next to my keyboard, purring and sleeping right under my mic. And then I've got turd butt here, friggin' rat dog.
Turd butt. He's not a turd.
He's my. I need to give him in for get a haircut. He is definitely due for a haircut.
Say, I'm a hippie. But, I like
hair. Yeah, but he looks better with this. He doesn't get as hot. He doesn't get as hot in summer. I like cutting his hair in the summer. That way he ain't getting hot. No ankle biter. But
and Edna brings up a good point. She brings up a good point. Okay, good to see you, brother. She says something about, or maybe it was a not deer. I don't really. I haven't really investigated the whole not deer type of a sightings thing, of reported the sightings of it. I kind of chalk it up to the chronic wasting disease type of a thing. I don't think it's actually like I mean, we have deer woman in folklore and legends of our people. I guess it's very well possible that something like that could be, you know, moving around out in the wilderness, in the wild. But I almost think that a lot of that is exaggeration or overexcitement. You know how your adrenaline picks up and you start to, you know, think you're seeing things and it's not really what it is. It's something different. Yeah, I just don't know about that whole not. It's kind of like reminds me of the birds aren't real type of a thing, you know. Now we do know. Let's put it out there with the birds aren't real thing, that our government does make robotic, you know, engineered type of surveillance cameras that look like birds, look like bugs, crickets, grasshoppers, dragonflies, you know, even frogs. You know, they do make this stuff, and it's part of their spying section of the military and the government. So we do know for a fact they make this stuff. But you know, to say every bird is not a bird, and every deer is a not deer, maybe, just maybe, the not deer is a shapeshifter. We got into that subject last night. But I'm just not sure. I'm not sure about the not deer. So I haven't really gotten into this trying to study that for, and investigate any sightings.
Yeah.
I haven't had any sightings here locally anyways. So
Yeah. I don't know. I've not really heard enough on it to know anything about a not deer. The closest thing to a not, just knock things over. Don't mind. It's just up there for a reason, and it's in your way, huh? Uh, the only thing to a not deer that I know of is what a lot of people mistaken Wendigos for, and they're actually a oh my god, I forgot the name of it. Something deer. It's another one of those like demon type creatures. Anyways, a lot of people call them a Wendigo, and they're not a Wendigo.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's all people have to basically refer it to. It's like everybody
Mhm.
saying that a shapeshifter it's all skinwalkers, and it's not. It's not.
Mhm.
Okay. There's a difference between a shapeshifter and
Yes,
black
sir.
magic. So
You can come in here as long as you behave and you don't attack baby kitty.
you might as well build an ark.
I know. I'm actually kicking around because all these animals have got to be in the office with me every time I'm in here. Of up around my ceiling, putting little cat walkways and cat stuff for them so they have a place to be happy.
Hey,
Last
that
night
might
I'm
be a
trying to.
YouTube channel.
It might,
That
man.
might
I'm
be a
trying
good.
to sleep last night, and I've got two kittens laying in between my legs, and I roll around a lot. And then I've got two cats in bed with me and a dog. I'm like, yo, come on, man.
Yeah.
It's a never ending battle. It's a never ending battle when I try to sleep. I came across about UK a cryptids, and one I thought was different is a stagman. Yeah, it's not a stagman. It's something like it starts with an F. I remember that. I cannot remember the name of it, but it starts like an F. Something F deer. Can't
I'm
remember.
not even going to
But
go
it's a
there.
yeah. It's a demon. It's a demon. But I can't remember. Now, I mean, now you know there is people talk about how the big W wears a stag mask to show prowess or power. uh, I'm kind of one of those. I'm thinking it's more along the lines of it's this creature, this demon that they're seeing, but I can't remember the name of it. But
That's
I
kind
mean,
of
you
like
got
that's kind of the theory of like being in the military. The more chevrons you have, the bigger the penis.
yeah, no shit. Or you get that butter bar on your chest and you're automatically invincible and you can't even freaking do land navigation, and you get your
Yeah.
soldiers 15 clicks off mark and end up pissing off the BC to have Humvees come get you because you're way off mark. Oh yeah, no, it never happens.
Uh, some of the stuff we
I
talk
mean,
about, man, it's
oh
funny.
god, the stories I could share of crap I've seen while I was in the military is not even funny, man. It's just, you get that butter. I swear to God, you get that butter bar on your shoulders, you become ignorant.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That happens a lot. I'm sure David and Melissa can verify that too.
Yeah. Oh man, but no, there's a lot of things that use fogs. I mean, a lot of it's demon. I mean, supernatural mainly. There is some paranormal that deals with fog. There's cryptids. I mean, now the case of the cryptids using fog, we know from Native American stories that like Shia Tonka, and I wouldn't even put it past Dogman. I think there's some Dogman ones that they
Mhm.
have medicine men in their tribe and medicine women in their tribe. Could they call upon the elementals to cause a fog to do something? I believe that is very
Yeah,
well in that realm of possibility because we know that our medicine men have been known to do that.
yeah. Well, the main reason I tell people not to go out in the woods and knock on trees with baseball bats is because what they're doing is they're not calling in Bigfoot. They're actually ringing like a dinner bell, basically. Because what you're doing is you're pissing off the element that's within that tree. And every tree has an elemental. Okay. Every tree has a spirit. Okay. And if that spirit is pissed off enough, it's going to manifest all kinds of cryptids to torment you your whole time you're in the woods banging on trees. Okay. Or it's going to make you seem like you're crazy. Okay. So I always tell everybody, you don't really want to go and start banging on trees, because you never know what you're calling in. You could be calling in a 20-foot tall Bigfoot that doesn't like humans and eats them for breakfast. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me to go out in the woods and bang around on a tree with a stick. It makes more sense to me to take your shoes off and your socks off and curl your toes up into the ground yourself in the earth, and put forth that good feeling, that good vibe into the forest that you're walking into, and go into the forest that way. Okay, because I guarantee that the more you're connected to Mother Earth and grounded to Mother Earth, the more you're going to have interactions with other beings that are part of the attachment to Mother Earth. Okay, which could include electronic fog.
I'm trying to upload a vehicle or a picture to really describe what you're talking about, and it's taking a little bit. There it goes. So what he's talking about, folks, banging on trees, is there's a fae called a dryad. So when you see a tree like this here, where you can see the face in it, and this is a picture that I've taken, that is what a lot of people will tell you, that a fae lives in there called a dryad. They make their homes in there. Once again, living entities. I mean, not only just a tree itself, but when you got a dryad living in a tree and you're banging on that thing, you're going to piss that dude off that's in there. And when you kill that tree, you kill that dryad. So when you hurt that tree, you're going to hurt that dryad too. But that's kind of what means he was talking about right there.
Yep. Everything it goes back to what we said at the beginning of the podcast this morning. With everything having spirit or having a living being within it. That's why we as Native people say that if you're going to walk on the red road or walk in beauty, you have to walk with, respect and basically, reverence for everything. Every time you take a step, you got to understand that you're taking a step on something that is alive beneath your feet. And that could be multiple things, it really could. So out of respect, each step you take, you think of a good thing, instead of a bad thing. You know what I mean? And that's kind of a respect that you build up, and a conduit power system you build up with your local environment, with Mother Earth. You build your spiritual strength up that way. You ground yourself that way. Mankind run around for thousands of years in bare feet, and we're more attached to the environment than they are today. Ever since the invention of sneakers and boots and shoes and flip flops, mankind's energy has diminished, and actually knowledge of the environment has diminished over time, because every time you're putting shoes on, you're putting a buffer between you and the energy that your body needs to function. Literally, the energy your body needs to function, the energy that your body needs to fight disease, the energy that your body needs to promote the environment in a good way, if you know what I mean. So,
yeah. Kathleen's got a question here, and I want to comment. She got two parts to it. When I break up dead branches on my property for firewood, I always find a dead tree to bang it against, and not live ones, because it felt wrong to hit a live one. Never told anyone that. She also comes in and asks, "Are dead trees going to be mad?" There's still life in them trees, even if it's dead.
Yeah, there's no such thing. Yeah, there's no such thing as a dead tree. There really isn't. Because the moss that grows on the tree, the ants that walk up on the tree, the beetles that burrow within that tree's probably more of life, filled with life, than when it was actually standing upright. So the raccoon that lives in its hollow shell, I mean, that tree's got life no matter what position it's in, whether it's laying on the ground. But you see, that's the concept that I'm trying to to let everybody know, that if we hadn't have lost that connection from our feet touching Mother Earth, we would have known that tree is probably more full of life laying on its side on the forest floor than it is standing upright to this pointing to the sky.
Yeah.
So I know you were going to say the same exact thing. That's
Yeah.
But
and
that's
even that's mainly the trees that I like to cut down. Is those, and even when I do that, just like a living, when I have to do cut a living down, I plant tobacco, because I'm honoring the spirit of that tree, and I'm honoring the spirit of all living things that's in that, because of the sacrifice of that tree to be able to warm my home. I give thanks to it. So I plant tobacco, I thank it, and I pray for it. That is something you need to practice. Now, something you may want to think about, Kathleen, is this. Do like I do. Instead of breaking it on a tree, find a good rock or a place that you can incline it. Use your foot to break it. That's what I do. Like, I got railroad ties out here where my pool usually is. I'll lean it up against that and break it, or I'll find it. I'll find something else similar to that, and I use my foot to break them. Or I use a chainsaw because I'm fat and I'm lazy, and it's just quicker with a chainsaw. So, but that'd be some practices for you to think about. But yes, even dead trees still have life in it. The tree itself may be dead, and its spirit may be gone, but there's always life within it still. Mushrooms, insects, animals. So always show respect. And if you got to cut it down, always plant tobacco and give it a prayer and thank it for its sacrifice. But rocks are alive too. That's why I said,
Kathleen's completely right about that, because what it is rocks. It's what we call, being Native American, we call rock medicine. Okay. And rock medicine is one of the strongest medicines you can have, because the rock, the granite, and the crystals within that granite are very, very highly charged and very, very spiritually centered. Okay. You could never find a more grounded situation in the environment than it had boulder granite rocks around, because of the crystal content in them. Okay. That's why a lot of places you have missing people. Take for missing people, for instance. One of the big things that they found out with missing people is not only do they turn up missing by water, but they turn up missing in rock formations and stuff that are granite and crystal. Okay, because there is spirit that lives within that boulder. Okay, sometimes the energies that spirit's going to make, people can fall within that boulder, and it's like a whole different world. Okay, it's like walking through a portal, except they fall through it. That's all it is. And then you throw the whole electronic fog thing on top of it, and I almost feel like, when David talks about the 411 missing on his shows, he always tries to correlate bad weather effects after the person's missing, so that it hinders the search rescue part of the behind the missing person, the search parties and stuff, because it shortens it down and it makes it more difficult for them to find the person. It comes back to that whole thing of Mother Earth is alive. So if Mother Earth is going to be alive, and the rocks upon her are alive, and the water that flows upon her is alive, and the mountains that grow upon her are alive, and the trees are alive, wouldn't it make sense that the weather can also be labeled as being alive, like electronic fog? We as medicine people, when we do ceremonies, we call upon the powers of the Thunder Being Society, and and we can call forth the thunder and the lightning, you know, in ceremony. I've done it myself several times. I've called forth strong winds several times in ceremony. It's just you have to have that connection to all the powers that are gifted to us by the Creator. Okay, and it's like it says in the Bible, the Creator didn't give us anything that we would use wastefully on this planet. Okay, that we have everything to nourish us, everything to clothe us, everything to keep us warm, everything to keep us covered during the rain and the snow. I mean, we have all we need at our feet. Okay, and the key word is feet, because when we walk upon her and in the environment and in the forest and the mountains and along the beach, you know, if you like sand, you know, we're reconnecting that energy, that connection, that conduit from us to Mother Earth and to all the living things, the Matakwio Yasin, the all my relations.
Yeah. Woo brought up something here. Mass UFO sighting video I posted under short videos. Res Rock Amplifier or Amphitheater concert, Jefferson County in Colorado. The first is definitely off world, not reverse engineered.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I'm Jefferson. I'm trying to figure out where Jefferson County is in Colorado. I think that's where, isn't that where the Bigfoot Museum's located in Colorado? Because I know there's like a Bigfoot museum in Colorado. I think it's Jefferson County that it's in. God, I can't remember the name of the county though. I think it is Jefferson County. That's kind of odd how that would be. William, have I ever astral projected? And if so, can you share? Oh, I think he means, have I ever astral projected? Well, we don't really call it astral projection. Okay. Anytime we have an out of body experience, it's either through ceremony or it's through what we call dream walking. Okay. And I could literally walk into other people's dreams and realities in their dream. You know, when we do it in ceremony, we call forth the ancestral spirits to come forth and to give us that connection to the universe, to Matakwiyas and all our relations to Makawakan, Sacred Mother Earth, and Tunkashila, Grandfather Sky. You know, we look for these things, you know, and we practice these things very, very religiously, and that gives us the ability to what you would call astral projection. Okay. It's almost like walking amongst the stars, basically. You can see yourself laying, you know, or sitting in a position for ceremony or at rest, and you can literally just see yourself, you know, floating around and interacting with the universe around you, whether it's the stars in the sky or the trees on the land or the animals in, you know, on the land. You know, you can interact with them. Okay, but you have to have that connection. And that's the thing that mankind has not been capable of keeping over the years, is keeping that connection. Okay, and I mean, hey, I do it too. You know, I put sneakers on just like everybody else, but you know, we have to remember that, you know, when we're at our home, if we can. Why do I got a bad feeling about what's going on with ED now?
Oh my God, and I can't find my spray.
Where's my aerosol? I need my fragrance.
Wow, which one of you two did that?
Silent but deadly.
My
God. Silent but deadly. But anyways, yeah, we astral projection is kind of like dream walking or ceremonial walking. And it's just you can feel a real power coming from experiencing that, and also a real calmness. So that's the main thing too, because you haven't lost that sacred connection to Mother Earth or to Grandfather Sky. You made that connection and you tried to keep that connection. So the more you do and interact with Mother Earth and Grandfather Sky, the more you're going to have a powerful of a connection to where you can astral project yourself anywhere you want to. You know, I never really thought about physically astral projecting myself somewhere because I really don't want to go eavesdropping anybody. You know, I mean, I don't want to, see my neighbor, in the shower per se or something like that, and I'll be throwing up the rest of my life. But you know what I mean. You just out of personal responsibilities that I have to everybody around me. I don't astral project for a purpose unless I have a ceremony and I'm requested to do something to protect somebody or to help somebody with a situation, okay, or to find a relative that's deceased on the other side, and bring them forth into that person's life so they can acknowledge them, that one last time, So I mean, yeah, astral projection is possible, but and I do believe that everybody and will agree that everybody is kind of different in the way they do astral projection. They may see things a little bit differently. They may astral project in black and white and not color. I mean, there's all kinds of different things that happen. So it just depends on the person's spiritual makeup and energy.
Yeah. Roxanne made a comment about some spear balls they found, which I told her that could be giant remains. And, Roger from Mud Fossil University talks about them a lot. I can't remember what part of the body it's called, but watch Mud Fossil University with Roger, and he explains them little spheres very detailed. And he'll show you what part of the body they come from and everything.
Yeah.
Glades asked, do you know of any more on the pumpkinhead person seen in the mountains of the Carolinas?
No, I do not. I wish I could say I did. I've heard the accounts of the sightings and stuff. And I believe it's on the South and North Carolina border, in the Smoky Mountains. But what we have to realize too, when you're dealing with entities like a pumpkinhead, and it's literally like the thing in the movie. It's basically the Appalachian witchcraft type of a thing that calls it forth, and it's a vengeful spirit and a trickster. So I guess I could check into it, but I haven't really had any desire to, because that kind of stuff you want to kind of just leave it alone, and and try to avoid situations when dealing with something like a pumpkinhead, or any trickster, because you have several trickster spirits out there, okay, and they have the ability to shapeshift too into other forms, like we have Iktomi the spider. Okay, now Iktomi the spider is a trickster, but at the same time, Iktomi the spider was the one that brought the Dreamcatcher legend forth to the indigenous people. Okay, and told them that if you hang this design above your head of where you sleep, that all the bad dreams will get caught in the webbing, and all the good dreams will go through. And when the sun comes up, the bad dreams will dissipate and disappear with the sun shining on it, and the warmth of the sun. So, even some trickster stories are meant for good things, but that still doesn't take away the fact that it's called a trickster for a reason. Okay. And it could be very, very detrimental to people's health if they interact with trickster spirits. And that's why I kind of stay away from the Appalachian magic. If that makes sense. I'm not sure if that made sense, but after all, I'm suffering from a concussion from yesterday, so I could be just rambling on and having gaffes like Biden does. So, I didn't say that out loud. Oh no! All right.
Oh man, shame on you. They were asking if it was the same as in the movie Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, well, the descriptions are basically the same. Yeah, the descriptions are basically the same. But like I said, though, any trickster spirit like that and vengeful spirit is going to have the ability to change shape and to morph. Um, Kind of like that video we showed last night. I would almost say that if it wasn't for the supernatural connection, I would almost say that the trickster spirits could be a certain type of a shape-shifting entity, that lives on the planet. But I know for a fact from dealing with that aspect of my life, especially when I was younger, that in ceremony, when you call forth those trickster spirits, they're going to do it for a price. Okay, everything has a price. Okay, and usually it's your life. So that's why I tend to avoid interaction with that type of stuff.
Yeah. Coyote. Yeah,
Yep.
it's there's many types of tricksters throughout all kinds of aspects. Loki was a trickster.
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot the Greek. Oh man, I can't remember. But if you actually study all different kinds of cultures around the world, they all have a trickster spirit within them. Every single
Yep.
one of them does. So I
Yep.
mean, that's something you got to think about too. I mean, even in the Middle East, the jinn are known to be tricksters because sometimes some of them, sometimes they're nice, sometimes they're not. Um,
Exactly.
Same concept on all of them. So I mean, every culture has a trickster spirit. Native Americans have two or three. I know coyote,
Rabbit's a trickster,
spider.
spider's a trickster, and coyote's a trickster, and
Yeah,
crow is a trickster. There's four of them.
for them. Yeah, and Fox is known as the wily sly guy. He's not really
Right.
a trickster, but it's hard to trust him as well. He's kind of one of those
Right.
sly guys. He's not really a
Right.
trickster, but
Right.
I mean, so you gotta consider all that. Um, you know, um, I lean heavily a lot on Native American and Norse because that's primarily what my bloodlines are. But that's why I know a little bit more about those. But that's why you got to be careful on a lot of stuff, and you got to make sure, like, um, one of the practices I do when an animal lands or comes within very close range of me, I always say, "Hi, Aurora. Don't start a fight with baby kitty." Yes, hello. Yeah, hello, 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 Aurora. Yeah, don't start your attitude. Yeah. Um, but when I have an animal comes in close, people forget we used to be able to talk with them, and we've lost that ability through several acts that's happened, and we've lost that ability to talk with them. So when you have one come in close by, like I always say, thank you for coming and visiting me. If you have a message for me, please deliver it in a dream in a language that I understand. Because there's times they're trying to give you a message, but we can't understand them no more. So therefore, we don't know what they're trying to say, and that's why you always ask them to give it to you in a dream in a language that you understand. So that way, I don't need your butt in my face. Um, that way, you can um, get the message. Yes, okay, honey, come on. You're being a pain in the ass. Ow, ay, your claws. Oh my God. Roxanne's got a question here. If I can get that, come on, daggone it, Aurora, honey. When a person has dark brown eyes and they turn black when angry or just for no reason, is there any theory or something behind it? I
Yes.
don't know.
That is more of a kind of a malevolent type of an entity coming through, shining through. You see, everybody has. It goes back to that old native legend of the good wolf and the bad wolf, and
Mm-hmm.
which one is going to win the struggle within you, and it's whichever one you feed the most. You know. So if you want good to be within you, you feed the good side of you. If you want the bad inside you to come out, you feed the bad inside you. Okay. It's kind of that same concept. Um, when that happens. When somebody's eyes go black, you're not dealing with that initial person anymore. You're dealing with that trickster spirit that is within them. Okay. And usually when their eyes go black, it's definitely a malevolent or a kind of almost a demonic type of an entity.
Yeah. Yeah. And get your piece and get your screenshot in. Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. Like for my people, you got what's known as the Ulfanar and the Berserker, um, which is they change into whatever, either a bear or a wolf, and it's usually brings out a lot of rage, gives you strength and power and abilities of either the bear or the wolf, and makes you a much better fighter, which is one of the reasons why I learned how to control my anger, is because I would have that aspect come out. Now, much like their stories, a lot of them don't recall what happens during battle. Anytime I got in that spot, I was in the same way. I would not recall what happened. Usually, those around me would tell me what happened. And that's one thing for the Marine Corps that I'm very thankful of, is they gave me a way to learn how to channel that. And instead of it being just pure unadulterated, pure hurricane style rage, I was learned how to focus it on a target. And then, of course, went through anger management and stuff like that, and other ways to learn it as well, to where I've been able to control it. And if you don't control it, it takes over you, and which is can turn into a very bad thing.
Yep.
So, the changing the eye colors, I don't know if my eyes change. They say my pupils go wide, and which is one of the stories I've heard whenever they change to a berserker or an Ulfanar, that their pupils go wide and you just like more black. I don't know if that's happened. They just told me that's what's happened with me. So, that is a possibility within that as well.
Right. Exactly. Well, everybody, this has been a heck of a conversation. I'm sure Eric's got to get motivated to do his stuff for his show that's coming on today, and I'm still battling that stupid head bang from yesterday. So I'm battling one hell of a headache, migraine. If you can help the channel out, please subscribe to the channel first off on YouTube, because remember I said at the beginning of the podcast that we were not going to air this anymore on Facebook. Okay. And I apologize, everybody. I wish I could, but Facebook is out of control and somebody needs to stand up to them, and tell them that what they're doing censorship wise is wrong. Okay. And that's why I decided to pull this program off of Facebook. If you want to see it, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nighthawk High Strangeness Podcast on YouTube. It's William Nighthawk 6630. Or go to X or Twitter and look for William Shadowhawk. It's under that, Nighthawk High Strangeness. And then we have a Rumble page too, which, social site. And we also have a Twitch site, the gaming media site. We have a Twitch for that. But if you can, please make sure you're subscribed. And if you aren't, because they're even unsubscribing people, very, very often now. I noticed we bounce between 630 to 625 every week. So they're trying to take 4 or 5 individuals off as subscribers every week. And it's because they don't want to, they don't want the YouTubers to make money. They want to make money off of the ads and stuff on Facebook, but they don't want the YouTubers and all that to make money, be having that Facebook connection. So that's why they're censoring it so much. But it is what it is. If you can, though, please like, heart, and share this out with as many people as you can. Tomorrow, I apologize, but I've got a lot of work to do video wise. So I'll probably just be doing a repeat of today's program for tomorrow on YouTube and on X. And then we'll come back with Into the Red Rabbit Hole again next Friday night at 11 p.m. And then the Paranormal Weekend Morning Brew Show every Saturday and Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube and Twitter and Rumble. Okay. So that being said, I put up a new T-shirt design. I don't know if anybody noticed, but I called it Leviathan, and it's a front and back design T-shirt. You can get it in numerous colors and in hoodies, and it's got the Leviathan on the front, and it says Leviathan across the bottom, and the back of it, it has in like a semi-arch pattern, let the shit show begin, and it has the Leviathan on the back too. So, you know, it's pretty cool. It's got the giant squid on the back with a ship being caught in its tentacles. So, but yeah, it's a cool T-shirt. I just basically made it up this morning and posted it. So if you can go to bonfire.com, Into the Red Rabbit Hole store, and check it out, you know, you might like it, you know. Then we've got Eric's programs and stuff he's going to tell you about, and where his books are, and where his merchandise is too, because he's got some great shirts too. So, and coffee mugs and all that. So go ahead, Eric.
Actually, I'm drinking out of one of them right now. This is from the Viking Age series on my Teespring. I've got different lines. I've got Red Ginger Lives Matter line, which has Ginger Giants and all this other stuff in it. I have Viking Age line with Viking stuff in it. Veteran line for veteran needs. I mean, I've got different stuff. Man, I'm brain farting. I got a lot of stuff out there. I'm creating stuff new every single day. But I do have your Ginger Giant. I do have the Ginger Giant shirts made up, William, that you was talking about. So I do actually have two types of Ginger Giant shirts available from the pictures that William picked out for the shirt designs. That's all on Teespring at the Bizarre and the Unknown. My shows and my YouTube channel is the Bizarre and the Unknown. If you see that logo, you found me. I usually do Saturdays. I usually do campfire chats with Eric and guests, and that's a safe space for you to come to share your encounters. And that show was created by you guys. So I mean, that's your guys' show. I will not be doing that this Saturday and next Saturday because I have to work starting Sunday night. I've got to do a couple weeks of nights. So instead of doing my usual show on YouTube on Sunday, I'm doing it now on Saturday in place of the campfire chats, which tonight we're going to be talking about the Mokle Bimbe. So it's going to be fun. I've got like 20 pages of notes. I mean, it's surprising how much stuff I was able to find on that because they're not censoring it yet. So that's been fun.
Right.
I have Patreon, X, Rumble. I'm kicking around, going on Twitch. I got YouTube. I'm forgetting TikTok. They're all the Bizarre and the Unknown. You see that logo, you find me. When I do current events, that's usually on Rumble and X, which I've had trouble going on to X. I've got to play with Rumble, figure out what's going on there. But I do current events because it's not censored on Rumble and X. So when I do current event stuff or I talk about certain things I know it's going to trigger to YouTube. Hey, Kyle. I'll do that on Rumble and X. Now, I don't go on Facebook anymore because it's the same thing what William was talking about. So I primarily just go to them platforms. But I have an author's Facebook page on Facebook, and you see me in my cowboy hat, my sunglasses. You found me. Same as my little picture in a chat line where I'll drop my books, informations, and give you updates and let you guys vote on certain things for merch or book covers. If you go to Amazon, you can go to e.d.testman and it'll pull up my books. If you hit my name, they'll take you to my author's fan page. And if you follow me on there, anytime I have a new release, it'll let you know. So you can find my books there. I've got 5 books out currently.
Awesome. And I almost forgot to, you can do memberships on the Nighthawk I Strangers podcast channel now. For $4.99 a month, you get the exclusive videos and stuff that is only released to members, and not released to the general public. Plus, there's all kinds of cool stuff in there as far as like stickers and stuff for your social media. And there's other perks too, like I'll do members only lives occasionally, that kind of stuff. So for $4.95 a month, that's pretty cheap, you know. So if you want to support the channel that way, you could do that too. Okay, Nighthawk I Strangers podcast channel, YouTube. So with that being said, you know, everybody have a great weekend. I will see you all next Friday evening. And I'm going to get these videos done this week and get everything sent out to social media, except for Facebook. I'm sorry. I can't condone what Facebook is doing right now. So that's the reason I'm doing it. Okay. So everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you next week. Okay.
Good night, everybody. Or good day, everybody.